Why, hello there. Welcome to my personal movie shop. I'm going to be showing you a couple of movies that I personally love a lot, and I'm also going to be showing you a couple of movies that I am not quite familiar with, but that do look a little bit interesting. How does that sound? Okay, perfect. In that case, I'm going to be showing you a selection of films, really, that I quite like. First, I'm going to be starting with a couple of my favorites, my absolute favorites. We're going to be starting off with French Kiss with Meg Ryan and Kevin Kline. He was in Pink Panther. Now, in this film, we're going to be following Meg Ryan as she's trying to get back her fiance, who basically abandoned her when he went to France on a business trip, I believe, and found himself a young French girl. She goes to France trying to get him back and finds herself having some visa issues that then basically entrap her in the country of France. In the meantime, she finds a rascal who basically tries to help her get her fiance back with his own sort of underwater benefit. He's trying to get something out of it too. So that's the premise of this movie. I myself adore this movie, mostly for the location, the scenery, and just the little tiny details that you see, kind of like a little like vine plants that you see, and also just like the vineyards themselves, and this little wooden box that contains all of these different little seasonings inside of the box. There's a lot of little details in this movie that I personally love. I would highly recommend you watch this film if you would like to have a lovely little romantic evening with your loved one. I'm going to pop this somewhere else because that was an extra loud pop. Okay. Now, next is another personal favorite of mine. It's a very romantic one as well. This one is Forever After with Drew Barrymore and Angelica Houston. I actually don't know who this actor is, but it has Angelica Houston and Drew Barrymore. Honestly, in my personal opinion, Angelica Houston gives the most sympathetic rendering of the evil stepmother that I've seen in any Cinderella adaptation, and this is what that is. It's a Cinderella adaptation. Drew Barrymore plays Cinderella, although she's not called Cinderella. She is at times nicknamed Cinderella, and I do love the outfits and the coloring in this movie. It's a very lovely movie, especially to watch around the fall. It's something that is very, very romantic. It features Leonardo da Vinci as the fairy godmother, and it's basically just a wonderful movie that all ties together. There are a couple of themes in this movie that I personally find a little bit questionable, but for the most part, I do love it. Let's see the inside of the film. I just want to check out these little booklets. I myself love these little booklets, these informational booklets. Although this one isn't a booklet, it's more of like a little card that you can kind of cut into the different chapters of. I'm going to put this right on back. I'm just going to close this. I'm going to pop it away somewhere else. If you watch the film Penelope with Christina Ricci, I kind of put them in the same category of sort of like a fantasy magical world, but meant for romantic young girls. I would highly recommend them. Now, this next movie, I have my questions still. There's still some themes in it that I have my questions about, but I do love the passion in it. I love the scenery and the location yet again. Plus, I love Reese Witherspoon. Sweet Home Alabama. This has Reese Witherspoon, and I forgot the other, Patrick Dempsey, and then the guy who's the bad guy in Hulk, the first Hulk. That's what I always known him for. It's always been the bad guy from the first Hulk. They're both in there. It's the corporate liberal businessman, Patrick Dempsey, and then Reese Witherspoon being that big boss girl, goes to the country, finds herself a country boy, and then goes, you know something? I think I might have made a mistake. That's literally the questionable theme of the movie. And then he just lets her go. He says, you know something, sweetie, what's valuable is your heart and what you won't. I'm like, in no universe would anyone be okay with this nonsense. That being said, that's the premise of this movie. It's just a big city girl going back to her country roots and then decided to stay there. That's Sweet Home Alabama. I'm gonna see if it has a booklet. Permit me one moment. I'm gonna see if it has a booklet. It popped. Okay. It doesn't have a booklet, but it has a little like screen scene selection thing. There we go. I'm gonna put this right back. I'm gonna pop it again. I'm gonna pop it again. Pop it, twist it, pull it. Okay. Now we're getting to the movies that I either have watched maybe like once, maybe not completely, or movies that I haven't watched at all but that I'd like to see. Now, we are going to go into August Rush. I've only seen this movie maybe once or twice throughout my life. It's a cute little movie. It's got Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. It's got little Dr. Good. I think that's his name, the autistic doctor who's just like, I forgot what he says. I am a doctor. I am a doctor. With Freddie Highmore. And then it has Robin Williams. I didn't know that. Interesting. But they don't even have it Robin Williams anywhere in the box. It's a very cute movie, basically. I think the movie premise was about a little boy. I think he's an orphaned little boy, and he's trying to find his parents who basically conceived him because they both loved music. But yeah, he's just trying to find them, basically. In my opinion, it's like reckless parents that are just like, oh, we're like musicians, but like we accidentally had a child, and then the child just kind of, you know, naturally just wants to see his parents again, and so he's doing everything he can to appeal to their basic instincts. I think that's the premise of the film from what I remember it. I didn't quite like it, but I also kind of thought that the little like themes and the aesthetics were kind of cute. There is no booklet. I'm gonna pop it back. There we go. And now I'm going to let me more fully pop it. Okay. Now I'm gonna put that back. And the next film we have, this one I've only seen clips of, so I'm not quite familiar with what the premise is, but I do love Kate Beckinsale. This one is Serendipity with John Cusack. John Cusack is the typical guy who kind of always positions himself as the loner romantic guy. That's kind of why I like his movies. Kind of like, what's that one movie he did with Jack Black? That's the one he's known for. It's about a record shop. High Fidelity. I almost forgot. Okay. In this one, I think it's a romantic movie where he falls in love with Kate Beckinsale, obviously. But I'm going to read the back of it. Irresistible stars John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale are drawn together and take a chance on love in this critically acclaimed romantic comedy. In the course of one magical evening, Jonathan and Sarah meet unexpectedly, then part without expectation when she decides they must let fate determine if they are meant to be together. Years later, they are both engaged to others. Oh my goodness. But cannot give up that dream that despite time, distance, and the obstacles that conspire to keep them apart, they will one day meet again. This is such a... Also starring Jeremy Piven and Molly Shannon in a stellar supporting cast, you're destined to agree with audiences everywhere who fell for the surprise and charms of this delightful big screen romance. You're telling me that they met for one time when they were still single? They could have been together, but then they said no. If we were meant to be, then they will cross paths again. And then years later, when they're not single and they're literally engaged to other people who are fully ready to get married to them, oh, now then they were actually meant to be together. At that point, they're going to actually make the decision to stay together. Come on now. It's just another little screen selection card. It's not a booklet. Shame. I love booklets. Now these other two movies that are going to be reserved for last. These movies I actually have never seen, but I am very curious about them. They do look very nice. This one is called Evelyn, and it has Pierce Brosnan in it. I love Pierce Brosnan. Such a good man. He literally was married to a woman, and then that woman passed away, unfortunately, and he became a widow. Then he remarried, and he fell in love with that woman, and he's been with that woman for I think like 26 or 30 years. I can't recall. It's not my marriage. And then that woman got a little fuller, because that's what happens when you get married and you're in a happy marriage. You get a little more full, especially if you've had children. And then the media was all like, why does he stay with her? It's like, oh, I'm sorry, not everyone is shallow pieces of crap. Some people enjoy the people that they actually married and enjoy the fact that they're now cozy and comfortable with them. You piece of crap. It's just, I can't stomach it. it's propaganda by the you-know-who trying to break up a nice family because of their own benefits. Now, the premise of this movie goes as follows. From the director of Driving Miss Daisy comes this compelling, heartwarming, and inspiring true story of a father who faces impossible odds to keep his family together. That's how Pierce Brosnan rolls. That's why he was the James Bond. Times are tough in Dublin, Ireland, but no one has it tougher than Desmond Doyle when his wife runs off. Doyle really is an Irish name. When his wife runs off and his beloved daughter Evelyn and 2 young sons are sent to an orphanage by the government, enlisting the help of loyal friends, and a feisty American lawyer, he takes his case to Ireland's Supreme Court in a history-making quest to topple an ironclad law and win back custody of his children. Oh, I like that actor. He's from Benny and June. Is that Stephen Rea or Aidan Quinn? He's also from Practical Magic. Love that movie too. Does it have a booklet? I'm gonna look up if it has a booklet. No, it's just another screen card. Beautiful though. Very lovely. I like how he does family movies. That's very cute. I like that. I like that a lot. And finally, the last movie on the docket. This one is called The Quiet Man, with John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara. Now, I just like old movies because they tend to have just like more realism in it. It's like, although sometimes they have that like slapstick, witty, sort of like surreal, absurd sense of humor, like in Looney Tunes or Popeyes, it's like there's still realism in it, where it's like you're appealing to my like understanding of reality, as opposed to trying to like force something that doesn't exist ever. Does that make sense? Are you comprehending that? Like, basically, like, it might be goofy, but it's goofy on top of the reality that I know. It's not trying to give me a goofy reality and then do jokes as if I can relate to those jokes at all. Like, this is not something that any human being on earth relates to unless they are very mentally ill, which is the case nowadays in media. So I tend to prefer older movies for that reason. It tends to be a little more realistic. I've never seen this movie before though, but I am interested in watching it. I'm going to read the synopsis. John Ford's The Quiet Man celebrates one of Hollywood's most romantic and enduring epics. Winner of 2 Oscars, including Best Director, the first American feature to be filmed in Ireland's picturesque countryside. Oh wow, another Irish movie. Ford, whose real name was Sean O'Feeney, richly imbued this masterpiece with his love of Ireland and its people. Sean Thornton, John Wayne, is an American who swears off boxing after accidentally killing an opponent. Ooh. Returning to the Irish town of his birth, he finds happiness when he falls in love with the fiery Mary Kate, played by Maureen O'Hara. Though he is sorely tempted to pick up the gloves against her brother, the town bully, Sean is determined not to use his fists. Mary Kate and Sean wed, but her brother refuses to pay the dowry. Sean would rather walk away than accept this challenge, even when his new wife accuses him of cowardice. Sean stands firm, but when she boards a train to leave, he is finally ready to take matters into his own hands. The resulting fistfight erupts into the longest brawl ever filmed, followed by one of the most memorable reconciliations in motion picture history. I gotta see if there's a booklet. Is there a booklet? I doubt it. Oh, no. Oh, there's a booklet. There is a booklet. Oh, lovely. Lovely, there's a booklet. There's a booklet. It's a booklet. It's lovely. Okay. I love the bone structure. Maureen O'Hara's bone structure. It's so lovely. It's like, this is what a physical beauty is supposed to look like. Sort of refined, sort of modest. It's just very lovely. Now, are you interested in any of the movies aforementioned? You'll take them all. Oh, well, excellent. In that case, here you go. Here are all of your movie selections. I hope you do enjoy them. I am thoroughly going to enjoy the couple of new ones when you bring them back. I'm very curious about them. Well, in that case, I hope you take care. Bye-bye.